Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Cartoon Kilowatt. My name is Snipples, aka Snip Daddy, aka Snip Pimple, aka Drippy Snippy. And here we have my loving co-host, Stray.
Hi. I don't have as many nicknames as he does. He's been on the streets longer than I have.
We want to get you on the streets and get you those nicknames.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to surround you with orphans, because that's where nicknames come from.
What, am I just gonna have some Baker Street irregulars?
No.
Oh. I was hoping to have a bunch of orphans as an information network.
To do what? What would you do with that information?
I'm not sure.
Nothing.
It'll be
You would
useful.
do absolutely nothing. It would be, to me, if I had that information.
Bullshit.
Let us explain what this podcast is about. It's episode 1. You need to know, I need to tell. So, what we do is we watch the first 3 to 6 episodes of a cartoon series, and we just we give our opinions of them. You know? I mean, we're not going to watch the whole thing. That would kill us.
I would murder you if that was the show.
And just give, a quick opinion of the direction of the show, whether we enjoyed it or not. Not doing new shows, new cartoons. We are basically trying to stay before the 2000s. And anime, that's a whole other thing. Now, I do have some potential plans regarding anime, but you will hear about that next month. So, in the meantime, it's time for us to reveal the show that we watched this episode. Are you ready? Listen, guys, we're about to do a thing, and Stray's not good at this thing that we're about to do.
You're an asshole.
So I'm letting you know so you can hear how bad he is. Alright, let's go. And our first episode is Jonny Quest. I don't think you've ever seen it. Have you seen it before this?
I think I've seen previews because I did go through some of Cartoon Network whenever I had the channel, but we don't actually get Cartoon Network in Canada, and it was only in Hong Kong that I even got a bit of Cartoon Network once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen the previews for it, but never actually watched a full episode.
Alright. Well, for me, Jonny Quest was that show where either I'd be waiting for another show to come on, or a show I liked would go off, and in between would be Jonny Quest. And I'd be like, I don't want to watch this. But it was super popular at the time. I didn't like it. But I feel like it is a staple of the type of cartoons that was out during that time. Which, honestly, as we start to explain, says a lot. There's some hypocrisy going on. So, we're going to start with just the title, Episode 1, Mystery of the Lizard Men. Now, I saw this episode, and Stray saw this episode.
It's the only episode I watched.
Exactly. So, first thing I noticed about this episode, right? The opening. We have to talk about the opening because it might be the best thing about the television series.
A little bit.
I mean, first of all, I do like the song. It gets you pumped.
Yeah.
It's a pumped up action adventure song. But the opening is incredible because I feel like the director just, or whoever's in charge of Jonny Quest at the time decided, you know what? We're just going to throw in all the boy stuff we possibly can into this opening. It has tanks, guns, aliens, dinosaurs, mummies, lasers. So like, it's everything that a 5-year-old might want. Alright, so, Mystery of the Lizard Man, alright? Here's what happens. People die. A lot. I don't even remember
5
this
ships.
many people dying. Okay? There's a ship, it explodes, everyone dies. There's another ship, it explodes, everyone dies. Why? Lasers.
Lasers, rival powers. Rival
Yeah.
foreign powers want to stop America from getting to the moon.
And how you do that, Stray?
What?
Stop America from getting to the moon.
By using a laser, of course.
Exactly. And it's like, I was not prepared for people to actually die in this children's cartoon. We see adults talk about violence in cartoons all the time, violence in video games. And when those adults were kids, they were watching Jonny Quest. People are outright dying in multitudes with lasers.
Yeah, like, at least in dubbed anime, they try to say, oh, that helicopter was robotic. Or, oh, I see parachutes. They're fine. Or shit like that.
Yeah, no one was fine here. Innocent people died.
Like, honestly, only one I survived until,
The end?
yeah, basically. And then they blew up the ship filled with terrorists.
After all these ships explode and all these people die because life has no meaning, they take you to Jonny Quest's house. Their super mansion on the abandoned island. First of all, I'm going to assume that Johnny's mom died because no woman would leave a man with a super mansion on an abandoned island.
No, it's been said that Johnny's mom died.
It's been said in this episode?
Yeah. At the beginning. Like, when they were doing the whole exposition bit. Where they were looking through the files between Johnny and his father and everything.
Yeah. I forgot about the files.
Yeah. What? Did you think I would forget about what I really disliked about this episode? Where I was thrown exposition everywhere?
It's the first episode. You're gonna have a little bit of exposition. Come on.
It was a really ham-fisted way of expositioning.
Race is, the bodyguard of Quest and Johnny and Bandit.
Our Rock Sanson?
Yeah, he's Brock Sampson.
Except a lot nicer.
Oh, Brock Sampson was nice. To the boys. But, he's teaching Johnny because I don't know why. Why would they make... He works for, like, the CIA. Why is he teaching Johnny anything?
Because, if I remember correctly, they did not want Johnny to be kidnapped, so they have to keep him on that island.
So they're scared of all teachers?
Honestly, yes.
And Dr. Quest, Johnny's dad, because I forget his first name all the time, why isn't he teaching Johnny?
Because he's busy advancing science for America.
I can't argue with that.
Honestly, that's basically what the exposition told me.
And it's kind of sad because, Johnny lives on this island by himself. And it's like, he can't have any friends. Because no one's going to send their son over to an abandoned island for like $600 to play with Jonny Quest for 2 hours.
Well, if the opening is to be believed, they pick up an Indian kid.
What you don't know about Hadji? I have so much to say about Hadji.
Well,
So much.
I honestly don't know much about this show.
Right.
And here's another thing. Here's a small thing that bugged me, actually. The animation for the dog is so much better than the humans. Honestly, the dog feels a lot better animated than the humans.
It takes less effort to draw a bandit.
Yeah, honestly, yes. And also, they probably had so much experience working with animals, seeing this as Hanna-Barbera.
Honestly, I don't think Bandit is a normal dog. I think Dr. Quest fused a pug and a bulldog and a raccoon. Or, like, made them have an orgy, and Bandit was born, and then replaced his brain with a cyborg brain. Because the dog is smart.
Way too smart.
Well, I was going to say he's as smart as Scooby.
No, he's smarter than Scooby.
You only saw this one episode. I think Bandit makes some mistakes.
Okay.
So, on this island, right? Race pretty much beats Bandit because Peter didn't care about cartoons at the time.
And it's better than throwing a kid around to teach him judo.
Mildly. Yet, Johnny is like a freaking Kryptonian in this episode. Alright? So, they get Dr. Quest and like, listen, our ships are missing. We don't know what's happening to them because for some reason they can't see this big ass laser that's going around destroying all these ships. So they need Dr. Quest to figure it out. They track it down to a abandoned shipyard. And there, they get attacked by the lizard men. Now, let me tell you about the lizard men.
I don't understand why they
aren't lizard men. They are guys in green scuba suits. And someone looked at them and said, hey, those are lizard people.
No, everyone who sees them says, hey, those are lizard people. Because there is honestly no one in this fucking world that should have been able to be like lizard men. No one told anyone about them being lizard men.
It's like if you knew an albino with black shoes, you're like, he's wearing black, he's an albino, he must be a vampire. Is that kind of messed up ABC logic?
Yes.
But they get attacked by the lizard men, and guess what Johnny's doing?
Kicking ass.
Johnny is destroying lives.
With anchors. What has he used in this episode?
He does use an anchor. Look, I've tried to lift an anchor before. It was not happening. This is not something a kid can do.
Even with training, goddammit.
Right. He's throwing full-grown men off the ship.
Oh, and also, since we're talking about just stupid shit that happened this episode.
Right.
That bandit distraction.
See, the thing with the bandit distraction, it shouldn't have worked. It only worked because the lizard men are idiots.
It shouldn't have worked. They would have just taken Bandit and started running backwards and going like the prisoners must have escaped or something.
Yes. But you know what? Since we're talking about stupid stuff, let's go back to that anchor. Okay, and this is purely an animation thing, but I need to talk about it. He takes this anchor, he pushes it, it falls to the ground. It creates a hole in the ground. The anchor actually misses everybody. The hole actually misses everyone. Everyone is standing around the hole after the anchor hits the ground. And then afterwards, they all automatically get sucked up into it.
Like a black hole.
Exactly, like a black hole.
Except for race.
How did that happen?
Bad animation, they kept the characters on frame for a bit too long.
But you know what? eventually, the bad guys always almost win.
Yes.
That's how these things go. The main villain, right? He shows himself. Here's the interesting thing about the main villain, right? I'm just gonna say it. He explains his plan, which goes like this: I captured you, so you won't interfere with my act of terrorism that I am now going to explain to you in detail, so that you might interfere with it.
I'm honestly surprised they used the laser weapon on them and did just because they kind of already had. They were not impeded by Race or Johnny by the end of this episode.
No, they weren't.
The reason they actually lost was because they decided to shoot the laser at the mirror.
That's true. And I was going to get to that eventually, but since we're there, yes. They got these people captured, and they find Dr. Quest's boat, and they said, you know what, just blow it up with the laser like all the other boats, right? And they're like, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Just blow them up. And Dr. Quest, he has a mirror. He brought a mirror with him just in case.
Honestly, we all knew once we saw that mirror what was going to happen in this episode.
Yeah. And let me tell you, this is not a big mirror. They shoot the laser at the ship and hit the mirror perfectly.
So that it rebounds and hits their ship.
And everyone dies.
Yeah.
Like, can't you hit somewhere else on the boat?
Or couldn't you just have shot the rocket like you originally planned? Because they're not on the boat. They're not going to stop you. I don't think Dr. Quest had anything but that mirror against you.
I mean, just to make things clear, at this point, Race and Johnny had escaped from the villain's clutches through a speedboat chase.
Yes, which they destroyed the other speedboat by ramping up and smashing into it.
Yes, and those people died. There were guns in this cartoon.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guns.
No one hit anything, but yes, there were guns.
I remember when I couldn't watch an episode of Pokemon, they took it off the air because Jesse and James were using guns. And that's not appropriate for children.
And then there was...
But here in Jonny Quest...
Yeah, and even, honestly, they weren't even using the guns. Someone was holding a gun, and they took that episode.
And here they were using guns. Guns with infinite ammo.
Yeah.
Because they never reloaded, they have infinite ammo. And you know what? I think, technically, that is a greater scientific achievement than the laser beam.
Yeah. But
they should have just stuck with that.
But the laser beam, I'm going to say this about the laser beam. The laser beam was basically Gambit powers times 1,000. Because it's a really small laser. You have to understand. That laser must supercharge whatever it hits to cause an explosion like that. So, I'm convinced it basically does what Gambit does with his powers, but times 1,000, and in beam form.
So, after the enemies destroy themselves, after it's all over, Johnny and Race, they go back to their forbidden Love Island, and good guys win. Huzzah.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say about this episode?
Eunice? Was that the stupid little machine that he says a bunch of things into and just...
Oh. I completely forgot about that.
Honestly, what the hell is with that invention?
That's just... that's a literal plot device.
That is a plot device? No. It's an exposition device.
Well, he just puts, like, random junk in it and it gives you the answer. Like, yellow, toast, clothes, nachos. Oh, he's going to rob a bank tomorrow. Let's go.
It's both a plot device and an exposition device at the end of the episode.
But let's get to the second episode.
Which I have not watched, so I will just be very incredulous and try to bullshit my way through this.
But see, the good thing about it is, because you've seen the first episode, you got the mindset now.
Okay.
You know what to expect. So the second episode is called Arctic Splashdown.
Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Dr. Quest gets called on this mission because
we don't have any other super scientists. Reed Richards is away. Hank Pym is a killer robot now. Spider-Man's too busy running his industry. Can I stop?
all that.
Can I stop?
They lose a missile, and they want Dr. Quest to find it. So Dr. Quest takes Johnny and Hadji and Rafe to go to
Where did Hadji
the Arctic.
come from?
Exactly. You know what? This is what I was looking forward to when I was watching these 3 episodes. I wanted to know the origin of Hadji. And when I watched the first episode and I realized, okay, he wasn't there, so maybe in the second episode they're going to get into where Hadji came from. They don't.
Really? I was hoping they would actually go into it so that we know.
No, they don't go into it at all. There's some polar bears because
It's the
polar
Arctic.
bears. Yeah.
Were there penguins in this episode?
No.
Okay, at least they got that right.
They're just polar bears, and there was a walrus.
Okay.
Okay? There's a scene where Ray's and Quest and Johnny and Hadji are trying to get to wherever they're going, and they see this walrus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, now the road is blocked. The road is not blocked. There's plenty of space around this walrus. They just don't want to go around it. So what's their solution?
Oh.
To run it over very gently.
They didn't have any fish. Race could just ice fish or something.
Johnny gets on the loudspeaker, scares it away. After they run it over very gently. I was like, you could have just gone around that walrus. Now, you want to know who the villains are in this episode?
Is it Russia?
No, that's not. Let me tell you, and then you'll understand what I mean. It's guys in scuba suits.
Is this going to be a trend? Because now, the third episode, I'm just thinking, it's guys in scuba suits again.
But this time they know it's scuba suits. They're not calling them like the sea lion men.
So they're not Scooby-Dooing this shit.
No, not like they did the first one anyway.
Okay. I think the first one was more of a pilot, and then the second one is actually an episode? I'm not sure. You know how these shows work.
That's usually how it goes down.
Yeah.
So the guys in scuba suits, they want the missile.
Okay.
Primarily, they want like the tracking system inside of the missile. They capture the Quest family.
Okay.
There is no great escape here like the last time. They capture them, but then Dr. Quest goes on, turns around and he says, listen, I set that missile to explode. And everyone inside is going to die.
You know what I would have done instead?
What?
I would have skipped the missile, took Dr. Quest, put him in a remote location, in a cave, with a box of scrap. I will get that navigation system. I just have to be able to take down an Iron Man suit.
So, they said, okay, listen, we can't do this by ourselves. We aren't super scientists. So they get Quest, they put him inside the rocket with the missile. And they'll be like, figure this thing out for us and we'll let your family go. And he's like, nope, this isn't going to explode. So he escapes, the whole rocket explodes. They basically go back home like, listen, we can make another missile. The important thing is that the communists didn't get the missile. Because...
America.
I think they're... Because, yeah, America.
Honestly,
That's what...
honestly, you've been watching one episode of this show. America.
Interesting fact, though. There is a scene, and I don't remember it, but I wrote it down, so it must be true, where they shoot a missile at one of the kids.
What?
In fact, you know what? I do remember it now. There's a scene where Johnny and Hadji are trying to escape.
Okay.
Reyes and Dr. Quest got kidnapped first.
Okay.
So Johnny and Hadji are trying to escape in their snowmobile. And they're like, how are we going to catch these kids? Shoot a missile at them.
Because that won't kill them, right?
That's fantastic. That was episode 2, Arctic Splashdown, the third episode, called The Curse of Anubis. And
Do
this is
we
like
actually get a mummy?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. This is actually like a rated R Scooby-Doo cartoon. Because there is a mummy, and it's not a man in a mask. It's a mummy.
Honestly?
And yeah,
Wow.
here's something that I really liked about the episode. It's a really threatening looking mummy.
It's the same mummy from the opening, I'm going to assume.
I don't think so. I don't remember the mummy from the opening.
You described it when you were describing the opening.
I remember there was a mummy. I don't remember what the mummy looked like. I remember what this mummy looked like.
Damn it, Snips.
So, listen to this. There's a guy named Dr. Kareem. And he steals an artifact that's actually been seen in another cartoon. Maybe you might remember it. The Anubis head. Is that ringity bells for you?
The only one I'm thinking of is Kim Possible somehow.
Well, what you need to be thinking of is the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
Mojo Jojo uses the Anubis head to turn the girls into dogs.
Oh, I remember this episode now.
Yes. Not once. Twice.
But honestly, when you say Anubis head, I think of that Egyptian character from Kim Possible.
I don't remember.
He was
any like
kind of like a wrestler guy.
You know the only episodes I remember about Kim Possible
are the ones where where Ron is badass.
The Ron Monkey episodes, yeah. The monkey foo stuff.
I love the monkey foo stuff. I also love it whenever Shigo's family shows up.
Because it makes her seem a lot more human.
Yeah. Because when she's working for Draken, it just feels like she's the muscle. She really doesn't get much personality in those episodes.
Well, the muscle and half of the brains.
3/4 of the brains.
But enough Kim Possible. We'll get to that eventually. Anyway. So, first thing I noticed is this takes place in Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have Arabians. And they're speaking an Arabian language that's not Arabian.
Arabian days? I
just caught that.
You just got what I was going for there.
And shame on you.
I don't even remember the whole thing.
Good. Because you would sing it.
Yeah. It's going to occur in one of these episodes. Probably if we actually do a Kim Possible episode, you'll hear me at least sing a bar of Kim Possible.
But anyway, Dr. Kareem, he steals the Anubis head, and then he calls Dr. Quest and says, "Hey, someone stole the Anubis head. Come down here, help us figure it out."
Wait, what?
Yeah, because his whole plan is to say, the Americans stole the Anubis head to bring his people together.
Where is he from?
I assume so. They don't
Middle Eastern looking, I'm going to assume.
Almost everyone outside of the Quest family is Middle Eastern in this episode.
Okay.
But his people, because he has peoples,
yes,
they don't like this plan. Because the Anubis head is cursed.
And if it's taken, the mummy will rise. Yeah.
Well, they don't know about the mummy. They don't know the details of the curse, apparently.
Really?
They just know it's cursed.
What?
None of them know about the mummy.
What?
And Dr. Kareem keeps saying, "Listen, there's no such thing as mummies. Science. Science.
For science.
Your silly superstitions." Like, he's being really mean to his own people.
Do they throw him to the mummy at the end of this episode?
They do not.
Oh.
The mummy just gets him.
Okay. Well,
Mummy's stalking this man all throughout the episode. And this is one scene I need to bring up. The mummy's outside the window. Dr. Kareem just had like a little evil speech, and the mummy's outside the window. And the mummy looks through the blinds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The blinds are on the inside.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but...
The mummy opens the blinds from the outside to look on the inside. Dr. Kareem doesn't see this. Also, the mummy looking through the blinds doesn't have eyeballs. So, I don't even know why he bothered. Something you mentioned when I was discussing the last episode. Mm-hmm. Hadji.
Yes.
One thing I wanted to figure out when doing this episode of Cartoon Kilowatt
What was his
is
special
whether or not
powers?
Hadji is legitimately magical.
Okay.
Because in my head, like when I think Hadji, I just assume that he's magic. But you know, he has that turban on,
He has
and
that
he's
turban on. I'm going to be a little racist here because this whole cartoon's kind of a little racist. He has that brown skin. He's
he's a little exotic.
yeah.
And you know, as a kid, you just kind of assume Hadji's magic.
Yeah.
I mean, he did show up out of nowhere. He might be Johnny's imaginary friend. I don't know. I come into this episode, I still don't know. There's no definitive answer. He does a couple of things between this episode and last episode. I think in the last episode, he pulled a dog treat out of
His turban.
Bandit's ear.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, that could just be a regular magic trick. That's
Yeah.
not legitimate magic. But here, in this episode, he goes inside of a pot, right?
Okay.
This is shop that's just full of pots. They're selling pots. He goes inside of a pot.
Don't ever bring Link there. Ha, ha,
No,
ha.
don't you ever do that. And then he comes outside of other pots.
That might just be Scooby-Doo powers.
That's another thing. Like, is it magic or is it just cartoon physics?
Yeah. It's very.
I don't know.
But this show is actually legitimately
Realistic.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Except for the speedboat, how the guns worked.
Well, it's realistic, like Fast and Furious is realistic.
So the realism here is...
Now, much later, and I am skipping,
Okay.
Hadji brings his flute out, right?
Does he charm snakes?
Yes. But he doesn't make them dance or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them to go home. And the snakes go home.
We've already established most of these animals are pretty intelligent, except that walrus, apparently.
Is it intelligence or is it Hadji magic?
Maybe.
Hey, you guys, if you know whether or not Hadji is magic, please hit us up in the comments or email us at cartoonkilowatt@gmail.com.
We could research this. Did you actually register that email?
Yes.
Okay.
While they're playing it with the pots, right? Dr. Quest and Race are with Dr. Kareem. And they lead him, Dr. Kareem leads them into this, like, abandoned catacomb. Where he says, oh, look, it's your Anubis head. It's there because I stole it. I'm going to lock you in this room while I go get the police so that they can blame you for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to fill this place with venomous snakes. And by fill, I mean there's 3 of them. So don't move because the snakes will bite you and you will die. Then he leaves. His minions are trying to get Johnny and Hadji. So there's this Scooby-Doo-esque chase scene. They hide inside of a house. They break into some guy's house. The guy's not there. But there's a goat inside. Why is there a goat inside? Because it's Egypt, there's just goats inside people's houses? But not only that, but then the goat runs away and no one catches it. That guy just lost his goat forever.
Well, he just lost the dowry he was going to give.
So, Johnny and Hadji, they find Dr. Quest and Race. Kind of like the last episode, Quest and Race are a little bit useless. Hadji scares the snakes off, tells them to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Kareem comes back, says something evil, doesn't matter, because the mummy's behind him. Alright? The mummy scares all of his minions away. The ceiling closes in on the mummy and Dr. Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
And they escape through the hole in the ceiling.
Okay.
And that's basically it. It kind of wraps up after that.
Do they talk to them into the machine again?
Not at the end of this episode. No.
Did they do it in the last episode?
At the beginning, yes.
Okay.
So, those are 3 episodes of Jonny Quest that we saw.
Well, I'm on TV tropes because that's just easier to research off of sometimes. But Hadji's... Oh, wait. This is in later series.
Are you talking about New Adventures?
Probably. He apparently originally had telekinesis.
Yeah. That didn't happen here.
But, no, this is real this is Real Adventure, sorry.
And I hope we talk about that eventually.
But, yeah, no, Hadji's just...
A question mark.
Oh no, he has mystical powers, apparently. He's the seventh son of a seventh son, according to Wikipedia.
Are you serious?
According to Wikipedia.
Anyway. I didn't like Jonny Quest when I was a kid. But watching it now, I do feel like I was like way too hard on it. No, that doesn't mean I love this series because the pacing is a little bit off at times.
It dragged on so badly I couldn't actually watch it as much.
And it's juggling a lot.
Yeah.
You have the action adventure stuff, and I think that stuff is good. But then you also have like the cartoony kid stuff that might be not as good, especially if you're looking forward to the action adventure stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you have the exposition.
Mm-hmm. And also you have, for the time at least, sci-fi.
Right. So I gotta give it kudos because it's pretty ambitious. It is trying to do a lot of things, but I don't think it juggles them all so well. Now I can say, since we brought it up recently, I did enjoy the new adventures of Jonny Quest, and I think the juggling is way better there. But again, we'll talk about that at some other time. Do you have anything else you'd like to say about Jonny Quest?
It was very easy to see where they were cutting corners in the animation. Even then, they did actually pretty good with the animation, honestly. It's still, yes, it's a little cheesy at times, but it's actually not that bad. The only reason, as you said, they were juggling so much, each episode felt like it was dragging on quite a bit, and it was kind of hard for me.
Just like a dick.
Shut up.
So, thank you for joining us for the first episode of Cartoon Kilowatt. I would like to apologize for any of you that were expecting T. Wales to be in this episode because he had other things to do.
And you mean he forgot to actually watch the episodes?
Yeah. Stop ruining the magic.
This is done over Skype and not
you can't
in the same
ruin
room.
The magic on the first episode. You do that episode like 47. Anyway, if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, so on and so forth, please hit us with them. You know where to do it. SoundCloud, Gmail. This is Cartoon Kilowatt signing off. Say goodbye, Stray.
Goodbye.
You didn't have to say it like that. You said it so cold.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Until you join us next time.
Goodbye.
Farewell.